This one's wife. Is she 49? New discovery. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. The issue of this one's wife and her real age is something that repeatedly crops up. This one's wife maintains she's 44 years old. Her birthday was earlier this month. In the recent Bloomberg interview, she references being 44 years old. But repeatedly, there are individuals that suggest that she is older. And this segues into the suggestion that she was too old to have children and therefore she used a surrogate, vis-a-vis the suggestions that she never carried Archie and Lilibet. But what has been said about the issue of age, and what is this new information that has arisen that purports to maintain that she's actually aged 49 and is 5 years older than her claimed age of 44? Well, let's start with what has been said about her age previously. A birth certificate, which comes from Californian Public Records, confirms that her birthday is the 4th of August 1981, which places her at 44 years old. This is a verifiable public document. There are those who suggest, however, that she has somehow managed to falsify that birth certificate. Although they don't go on to explain how that has actually come about, they merely put it forward as a theory. Her father has confirmed that's her birthday. Her sister, her half-sister, Samantha, who isn't this one's wife's biggest fan, has also confirmed that that is the date of her birthday, and her mother, Doria Ragland, has also confirmed that is the date of her birthday. Her classmate, Ninaki Priddy, is also born in 1981. That's confirmed by a matter of public record. Her yearbook from her school confirms that she's aged 44. So there is not only testimony from her family that she's 44 years old, confirmation of her classmate that she is 44 years old because the classmate is, her yearbook confirms it, and ultimately there's a verifiable public record. However, there are those that continue to maintain that she's older than 44 because the birth certificate is not legitimate and has been falsified. It's claimed that the people she graduated school with are now 49 to 50 years old this year, but as I've just mentioned, Ninaki Priddy, who was a classmate, is actually the same age as her. There was a man who claimed that he had his first kiss with her in 1993 when they were both 13, which would mean that she would actually have been born in 1970 or 1980. However, it's more likely that they were actually 12 and she was born in 1981, and he's just misremembered. After all, public document versus somebody's memory. Ask any judge and they would follow the document rather than the fallible memory of a human being. Accordingly, the information does support the suggestion that she's 44 years old. So what is this new information that has come about that suggests that she's actually 49? What is this new information that suggests that this one's wife is age 49? Well, it comes from a YouTube channel called All Kinds of Wrong. There are two female presenters, and a segment of this has been taken by a TikTok host, Dame311, and has circulated the video. Now, it's a little bit unclear when you watch the video because it starts off partway through and shows this one's wife appearing in a Sunday or Saturday Express magazine, the British publication, from 2015. It's not clear what the point of showing that is. And then it segues into one of the women explaining that this one's wife entered a contest in 1996 in just 17. And that the editor of Just 17 confirmed the birth certificate, proving that this one's wife was 21 years old at that point. Now, we do not see any birth certificate. There is no affidavit from the editor of Just 17 confirming what has been stated. This is just what's being said to camera by one of the presenters. So you can make of that what you will. The suggestion, however, is that she entered the competition in 1996, and the winners were then announced in the March 1997 issue of Just 17. The competition, whatever it was, this one's wife didn't win, but she's listed as an honourable mention, and as you have seen, that there is an excerpt from Just 17 magazine with the name Meghan Markle, 21, Los Angeles, California, underlined with an arrow to it, and beneath it states, "Hey, don't forget to keep your heads up for the 1997 contest announcement," showing that that was what was coming next, so that this was during the early part of 1997. The other female presenter then holds up the magazine showing that entry of Meghan Markle, age 21, and then flips over to the front cover showing that the date of that publication was March 1997. Accordingly, the suggestion that follows is that this one's wife entered the competition in 1996, that she was age 21 at that point, that the announcement for the competition winners and honourable mentions, which included this one's wife, was March 1997. And therefore, if she had been 21 as at that point of the announcement being made, that means that her age would be somewhere around about 49 now. In other words, that entry in the magazine is accurate, pointing out that this one's wife is 21 at that point back in 1997. Whereas in actual fact, if she had been born in 1981, she would have been 15 years old at the entry point. And therefore, she's added 6 years to her age, meaning that now she would be somewhere in the region of 49, 50, dependent on when it falls with reference to when the magazine went out. Thus, the suggestion is she submits a birth certificate confirming that she is 21 to enter the competition. And because this took place in 1997, she's added some 5 to 6 years to her age compared to what she says she is now. And that is the evidence that has been presented. Now, certainly it's the case that you can see a magazine which says March 1997 on the cover. You can also see inside that it's got Meghan Markle's name and 21 written next to it. One would assume that she was the only Meghan Markle living in the Los Angeles area, but I suppose there's a possibility it could have been someone else and not this one's wife, so we need to keep that in mind. But on the face of it, this would appear to have been a submission which supports the proposition that she's actually older than she actually is. Now, in the video, mention is made of the submission of a birth certificate, but we're not actually shown anything, and it's not clear either where the presenter gets this information from. So the veracity of that remains up in the air. What you do see is this one's wife's name, assuming it's her, from 1997 for a competition that took place in 1996, stating that she's age 21, which means she would had to have been born in the 80s, in the mid-70s rather, than 1981 as claimed. So where does this all sit together in relation to a public record from California and the confirmations that have come from her father, her half-sister, her mother, the fact that Ninaki Praddy is a classmate who has been proven to have been born in 1981? Where does this all sit? Well, there are a number of options which critical thinking needs to be applied to. The first is, the two women in the video have perhaps fabricated the date on the cover or have fabricated the date inside through Photoshop or such like. It's a possibility, but I have to say that having looked at the video itself, it doesn't immediately stand out as having been photoshopped. Naturally, one's not able to gain the clearest of views at it, but that doesn't appear to have been what has taken place. The second is, this one's wife has been caught out, and she has been lying about her age for years. She is actually older than she actually is, and what these women have discovered is her true age, and instead she has been found out. The third option is that this is a printing error in the magazine, which gives her an age which is older than she actually is, whereby it ought to have recorded the fact that she was 15 or 16 years old and instead put 21. Printing errors do happen, therefore we shouldn't immediately discount that. The fourth possibility is that she is actually 44, and that has been confirmed by verifiable public records, and in actual fact she lied about her age when she made her submission to just 17, claiming to be 21 when she was much younger. That does have some attraction, because, for instance, there might have been an age requirement, for instance, being over 18 or being 21. The only problem with that is that when one looks at the other names on the list, there are people who are aged 15, 16 or 17. So the age that she supposedly was at this time, around about 15 years of age, would not have been a bar to her entering the competition. Accordingly, there wouldn't have been an incentive to lie about her age to gain entry into the competition. Those are the options. The two women have made this up and have changed things. This one's wife has been caught out and she's actually 49, 50 years old. It's a print error in the magazine that's given her an older age than she actually submitted. Or she lied about her age, although it might not be clear as to why she did so when she issued the submission. That's the evidence that's been put forward, but let's also consider her narcissism. The fact is that as a narcissist, she repeatedly tells lies. Not all of the time. As you know from my work, the narcissist will use the truth as you understand it to be, and will rely upon the truth, the half-truth, and nowhere near the truth. You might think, well, why would she bother lying about her age for a competition when there was no need to do so? But that's the very point. Remember, she is a deluded narcissist, and it may well have been the case that she wanted to appear older than she actually was in order to try and impress. Alternatively, it might have been the case that she wanted to make herself look older because then her younger-looking features would look better on somebody who is older. Gosh, aren't you young looking for 21? Remember, this is a somatic narcissist. She, therefore, needs to pursue the prime aims. You will know of children that have told lies about their age, often to make themselves older because they want to be more grown up, and it's just a harmless affectation of childhood. Similarly for this one's wife, she may well have lied about her age when issuing this submission because she wanted to appear more mature, or that she wanted her looks to look better given the age that she had reached, that she wanted to be seen as more important and thought she might be taken more seriously as a consequence of an older age. Or she may just have issued a lie because for the hell of it, because sometimes that can just happen. But as you know, it's done for the pursuit of the prime aims, to assert control, to draw fuel, to access a residual benefit. We do have documented evidence and testimony that confirms that she's 44. All of that is fairly substantial evidence. And if that's inaccurate, it means that a false birth certificate has been created, and it means that her father, her mother, and her half-sister are all in on it. That does seem to stretch the bounds of credibility, given as well Samantha Markle doesn't like her half-sister, and therefore why would she keep the peace? She'd be more likely to blow that open, and she has not done so. Instead, it seems more likely that what has happened here is that this one's wife has indeed lied about her age, but not so that she's older than 44 now, but she made herself older back then for reasons of self-importance, perceived superiority, and perhaps linked to looks. And so, whichever way you look at it, she has lied about her age, but the lie hasn't been as of late. It was all of those years ago. That is my view taken upon her being a narcissist and the most likely sequence of events in relation to the evidence, applying, of course, Occam's razor. But you may have an alternative view. You might think that this proves that she is nearer to 50 than she actually is, but then you have to understand, how do you explain away the presence of the birth certificate and all of the testimony from her family? You can let me know your thoughts in the comments section as a consequence of this new discovery in a magazine. Do you think that it's a fabrication by the people on the YouTube channel and they've misled the audience? Do you think that this one's wife has now actually been caught out as a consequence of this magazine entry in relation to her age, and she's closer to 50? Might it simply be a print error in the magazine and it's all a great big fuss about nothing? Or might it be, as I have deduced, she lied about her age when she made the submission, for reasons linked to her narcissism and the need for superiority and to feel important? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for listening.